Hi guys, did you know that you can start tomato seeds now for a fall harvest? In this video, I'm going to share with you what you need to know to have a bumper crop of tomatoes come this fall. I'd like to welcome you to my backyard Kentucky homestead. My name is Kim. If you like tomatoes and you want to have them all season, go ahead and hit the like button. Let's get started. So it is late May now, and for most of us in the northern hemisphere, we've actually just gotten our main season tomatoes in the ground. They're looking great. They're lush, they're green, they're growing like crazy. Mine has started to put blooms on. I'm ready for tomatoes. It'll be soon, a few weeks. But come later this year, when the heat of the summer comes on, when the summer pest and the diseases come on, it's going to take a toll on the tomatoes. So come late July or into August, if you're lucky, you're probably going to lose some of your plants. So what are you going to do for tomatoes later in the season? That's where the fall planting comes in. So with a lot of crops in our gardens, we do succession planting. We do beans, summer squash. There's a lot of them that you can do that. I'm trying to do that with my potatoes this year. Onions are one you can't do that with. Garlic is also one that you wouldn't do that with. But for many other things, we can plant multiple successions so that we keep getting a harvest throughout the season. With tomatoes, we can do that sort of. So if we start seeds now and we get them planted out mid-July, then we can have a harvest come September or October. So we are at least elongating how long we're harvesting tomatoes. There are several things that we need to consider before we do that. The first is our harvest window. Because we are getting these out later in the season, we're not going to have as long of a harvest window. With indeterminate tomatoes, they spend a lot of time growing the vine, because the more vine it has, the more tomatoes it grows. Problem is, with the fall planting or the fall harvesting, we don't have that much time for the plant to put that much energy into growing. So what we want to do is to choose determinate tomatoes, because determinate tomatoes will set flower pretty much at the same time. They will set fruit pretty much at the same time, and then they will all ripen pretty much at the same time. So it is a much smaller harvest window from planting to maturity. So it works really, really well for the fall harvest. So the next consideration you need to look at is when your first estimated frost date is. That will give you an idea of how much time you need to move backwards on your calendar to see when you need to start the seeds and when to start planting. A general guideline is that you're going to start them the latter part of May, plant them in the middle of July, and then they'll be ready to harvest sometime late September or October. But you do want to consider that the days are going to get shorter as we get closer to fall. So you want to add probably 7 to 10 days to the maturity date. And with regard to the maturity date, that is not when you start the seed. That is when you transplant it out into the garden. So we needed to do like that 4 to 6 weeks before we're going to plant it out like we did in the springtime. You need 4 to 6 weeks to get the seedling to get a good healthy size, and then we will plant it out into the garden, and then we'll need that maturity time from that date to the harvest date. A third consideration is where are you going to start your seedlings? I tried to start them outside last year. They were in a very, very sunny location, and they basically got cooked. So this year, I'm going to try 2 different things. I'm going to do what I did in the springtime for my main crop. And I'm going to have some inside under grow lights so I can have very controlled atmosphere and environment for them. I have a fan on them, but we'll make sure that they are inside and protected. Also going to start some outside that are in the shade so that they get a little morning sun, but then they're in the afternoon shade all afternoon. That way I won't have to harden those off because they'll be outside under the sun already. And hopefully that'll work, but we'll see. Because last year where my seedlings died off, I had to go to the store to buy some late seasons tomatoes. All I could find anywhere were indeterminate, which I did try. And I got a few tomatoes off of them, but they spent so much time growing the vine that I just didn't get much. Where with the determinate tomatoes, they grow to a set height, and then they stop worrying about growing. They set all their fruit, and the plant should be loaded. So once it is time to plant out into the garden, I will be using the very same method I used for my main season crop. And I will link to the video I did that, and it was how to grow tomatoes and peppers for a bumper crop. So I'm going to do the very same thing come time to plant them outside. If you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and check it out. So here is a sneak peek how my tomatoes are doing. They've been in the ground for about 3.5 weeks or so. They're already flowering. The beds are 17 inches high. So they've got a good couple of feet of growth on them. So they're doing really good. And I do have the vertical string trellising in place. So we'll be keeping those connected to that. That's one bed. And this is the second bed of tomatoes that I have. So they're just doing lovely. Again, they look very lush, very green. They're growing very, very well, but it's still very cool out. So let me share with you what I'm going to be planting for this fall. The first one is a determinate crimson sprinter. It is 65 days to maturity, has 5 to 7 ounce fruit. It is container friendly, so I will probably be planting all of my determinate fall tomatoes in grow bags, which is what I have actually done with my in-season crops. So Crimson Sprinter. The next one is the Roma. It is a determinate 65-day maturity, 2 to 3 ounce plant, or 2 to 3 ounce tomatoes. Mountain Princess. I grew this one last year. It was pretty good. 70 days to maturity, 8 ounce fruit. Whoops. New Yorker, which is 65-day maturity, 5 ounce fruit. So what I'm trying to do is have a variety of different types of tomatoes. I have a lot of paste tomatoes, a lot of slicing tomatoes, a lot of salad style tomatoes in my garden right now. So I'm trying to have a balance of that with my fall tomatoes as well. Going to try the Napoli. I did not have good germination with this one. I'm going to try it again. It has 2 to 4 ounce fruits, 70 to 80-day maturity. It's like kind of like a plum tomato. And then the next one is going to be the Best Boy Hybrid. It's a 70-day maturity and 8 ounce fruit. So I want to have ones that I can just really enjoy in salads and fresh eating. So let's get these planted up. I'll show you what I'm doing. So what I have here are 6 containers each, 6 for the outside, which I've used regular potting soil in, 6 for the inside, which I'm using seed starting mix for. I have put a label in each one, so I've got Mountain Princess, New Yorker, Napoli, Roma, Crimson Sprinter, and Best Boy Hybrid. And what we're going to do is just follow the back of the package directions. This says a 1/4 inch deep. So I'm going to put 2 seeds in each cell, or in each pot, just to be safe. Like I said, the Napoli earlier this season did not germinate very well. I don't know that I got any germination off of it. The first one is the Best Boy Hybrid. Got the little tomato seeds. And I'm going to put 2 in each of them. Oops. 2, whoops. Didn't want to get them mixed up. So I've got 2 there, 2 there. Okay. And I'm going to just push them down about 1/4 inch and cover them up. Okay. And then I'm going to just do the same thing for the rest of them. So the next one is the Napoli. Okay, so those are all set. I will put these in the shady place. I will put these inside under the grow lights. I will get my seeds out of the water. If you are working outside, these are amazing. They're little photo boxes. It comes in a case that has 24, and I think it's 16 or 24. You get it at Michael's or on Amazon. Michael's usually has the best deal on them. But it allows you to keep your seeds from getting wet when you're working in a wet environment like this. And these are my Temu garden tags. So if you are interested in learning what type of tomatoes you should choose for your garden for any part of the season, I did do a video earlier this spring about choosing the right tomato for your garden, where I go into the ins and outs of what the different types of tomatoes are, what they're used for, and how to grow them. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. And hopefully this gave you some inspiration to get some tomatoes started for the fall. It's well worth it. A lot of, again, by August, the tomatoes are going right into the crapper. So by August, for a lot of us, the tomatoes are diseased, they're dying off, and they're just not blooming anymore. Hopefully this video inspired you to start some fall tomatoes this year and give that a try. And if you are doing that, please share with me what you're growing below. I'd love to know. There are thousands upon thousands of tomato varieties. I'm always looking for the next best one to try. So do share with me what you're growing this year. I appreciate that. So thank you for joining me. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you with me as I continue my gardening and backyard homesteading journey. So until the next video, have a wonderful day. Bye.